Did you know that in Fortnite, if you head to this location on the map, you can find this? So this refrigerator that's been carelessly left in the desert is actually a reference to Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. In the movie, Indy uses the fridge to protect himself from a nuclear blast. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Video Game Easter Eggs, the series where we cover some of the best Easter eggs found in video games. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and do all that YouTube algorithm stuff, and without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin by revisiting an Easter egg that we found in the last episode of this series. In episode 66, we discovered this strange error message in Hello Neighbor. Now, I wasn't sure if it was a bug or an Easter egg, and I couldn't approach it to get a closer look as an invisible wall blocked my path. Well, loads of you commented that you can actually interact with the error message, but you have to do so in the prologue, where the invisible walls are yet to exist. It's time to find out what happens when you get close enough to the error. So you're teleported to a white room before the prologue cutscene begins to play. My guess is that this error message is meant for bug testing or even QA, seeing as they seem to skip certain parts of the game. I wouldn't be surprised if there were other errors like this in Hello Neighbor, so if you know of any more of these messages, then please let me know. Oh, and whilst we're discussing episode 65, you may recall that we summoned the true sun god on the Adora's temple map in Bloons TD 6, causing said map to take on a completely different look. In that video, I said that the furthest you could make it with this mega monkey was round 59. Well, loads of you suggested placing a monkey village next to the sun god and giving it the ability to detect camo balloons, as they were the only thing preventing us going past round 59. Well, I did that, and we managed to survive until round 170, where the game just ended. Balloons didn't even appear on screen until well past round 100, and if I'm honest, the true sun god never looked in trouble. So I stand corrected. The true sun god temple costs a ton of money to make, but it might actually be worth it. The next game that we're going to be Easter egg hunting in is Fallout 76. Much like the other games in the Fallout series, 76 is home to plenty of Easter eggs. We've even covered a few of them in this series already, including a Titanic reference and a clown holding a red balloon, which is of course a nod to Pennywise. Well, the first Fallout 76 Easter egg for today's video also references a cinema classic. At the medical centre, you can find this. So poor Jangles the Moon Monkey seems to have gotten himself into a bit of a sticky situation. What with an alien plushie sitting on his face. Who knows, Jangles may enjoy that sort of thing, I'm not one to judge. Anyway, this is of course a reference to the 1979 movie Alien, and this scene in particular.
What the hell is that?
The other Fallout 76 Easter egg that I've come across on my travels can be found at this location on the map. So this location is a reference to this scene from Breaking Bad, where Walter White was forced to bury his money in the desert after hiding it in blue barrels. If I'm honest, I'm just happy to see a Breaking Bad Easter egg that isn't a pizza on a roof, considering the amount of games that have done that particular Easter egg already. Right, it's now time to take a look at another Easter egg that may or may not be an Easter egg. In the last episode of this series, we visited a house in The Last of Us that looked a lot like Clementine's house from Telltale's The Walking Dead. Loads of you commented your opinion on the house, with the majority of you agreeing with me in thinking that this was a Walking Dead reference. While today's debatable Easter egg is perhaps even more debatable. During the Infiltrate the Lab level in Zombie Army 4 Dead War, this will happen. Right, so before I go into my theory, did this remind you of anything? Well, to me, this zombie crawling along the window reminds me a lot of this famous scene from Resident Evil 2.
What was that?
Like I said, this one is even more debatable than Clementine's house in The Last of Us, so I'll be interested to know what you think. Intentional Resident Evil reference, or just a zombie crawling on a window? Leave your theories down below. Oh, and whilst we're on the topic of Zombie Army 4, you may remember how the game loved to include creepy porcelain dolls in some of its levels. Well, I've found more of them. First, on the Raining Blood level, you can find this. And on the Belly of the Beast level, you can find more dolls playing a harmless game of peekaboo. So when I got word that a racing game called Beamng.Drive had some Easter eggs worth checking out, I bought it expecting a simple, run-of-the-mill racing game. What I actually got was a driving game that lets you smash up cars in loads of different ways, whilst you sit back and marvel at the mess you've made. Of course, you can enter races in Beam, but for me, the real fun lies in flinging your car off a ramp and seeing what's left when all is said and done. One of my favourite tracks to smash up a car on is the Jump Arena. As you may expect from a place called Jump Arena, this track is all about launching your car from a great height and counting the pieces at the bottom. Well, if you ignore the endless fun that smashing up a car on Jump Arena is, you can enter photo mode and find this. So this sign letting us know that there isn't any Easter eggs hiding away is actually an Easter egg. Of course, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas had a very similar Easter egg that could be found at the game's take on the Golden Gate Bridge. Now, being an Easter egg hunter, there'll always be one thought that won't let me rest. What if I miss something? Think about it. How many developers are out there right now who know of an undiscovered Easter egg in their game? I bet there's loads of them. Well, early last week, an employee of Respawn tweeted out that there was an Easter egg hidden in Titanfall 2 that was yet to be found. As someone who's made a Titanfall 2 video pretty recently, this one hurt. The employee in question, known as Frozen Fro on Twitter, explained that whilst he wasn't responsible for the egg, the dev who was gave him permission to tweet about it, and so began a frantic search to find the Easter egg that had been hiding for nearly 6 years. The race was won, or at least I think it was, by Titanfall 2 speedrunner Next Racer 1. So, do you want to know how to do it? Of course you do. First, load up Act 2 on the Effect and Cause mission. Proceed through the level until you come to this area where you're supposed to parkour over the flames. Instead of doing that, drop down into the flames and time swap 80 times.
In the area. Proceed to the south. Elevator to level 4.
Okay, so what at first appears to be an unremarkable room is actually home to an Easter egg that references one of the best movies I've ever seen. In the present day version of the room, you can find a man doing the splits on a counter whilst another lays on the floor after being electrocuted. This is a reference to the 1994 Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, Time Cop. The movie was released at a time where I'm almost certain it was in Van Damme's contract that he had to do the splits in every movie, and that's where this scene comes from. A couple of tips if you want to try this for yourself. Firstly, you can't just sit and spam the time travel button 80 times. You'll almost certainly die from the fire, even on the easiest difficulty. So it's okay to rest and regain health in the past before carrying on. Secondly, you should really watch Time Cop. It's great. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then leaving a like is really appreciated. If you are a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in video games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.